had 2 beautiful days here in Arkansas. It's been warm, it's been sunny, and 2 pretty days.
In the 60s.
Been in the 60s.
Near 70.
Saturday, today's Sunday, another beautiful day again.
We went out to the garden and worked Saturday.
Yeah, we worked a lot out in the garden
Tore
yesterday.
the old, everything off the greenhouse.
And I can tell you, I feel so much better that that it's warmed up outside and I got to get out in the sunshine. I do feel better because last week, I was getting pretty depressed, I think.
12 degrees.
Being in the house, and it has rained, and it's been pretty cold. And I know it's colder in other parts of the United States, but about the end of January, I start getting cabin fever. So it was really nice to get outside and get my hands in the dirt a little bit.
Getting ready to go.
Yeah, we tore the plastic off the greenhouse because it was looking pretty rough. And we're going to do something different with that this year.
Yeah, we've found that the plastic, the particular plastic that we were using, they make a clearer plastic than what we had this last go around. And it tends to make your plants want to grow toward the sun because they're not really getting the full sun that they need. So it tends to make them thin, and they want to grow.
They're spindly, yeah. And that good plastic's pretty high.
Yeah.
It's pretty high dollar. And we have some pretty good winds here in the spring. We have storms and stuff, and it does havoc on the greenhouse. But what we got in mind is probably a couple of years from now, maybe we're going to build a better greenhouse. Nothing huge, just something we need,
and we're leaning towards some more
cold frames.
Cold frames, yes.
Yeah, I think I'd like to do that. But I've got my seed catalogs in. We love looking through these, but this one, I've got one from Territorial Seed Company, and I've never bought from them before, but I was looking at their prices and stuff, and they've got some pretty good deals in there, and they're a pretty solid company. And of course, everything I planted and started by seed last year was from Botanical Interests Seed Company, and I had 100% germination from this company. And I bought a lot of seeds from them, and everything done real well. I was very pleased with this company. And then I've got, of course, Baker Creek. Now, I bought a few things from them, but most of last year was from Botanical Interests. Like I said, I had 100% germination. And then I got another catalog. It's called Johnny's Selected Seeds. So I haven't looked through this one yet, so I'm going to look through it. But we're going to do something a little bit different. Last year I kept buying different, I was interested in growing some different stuff that I've never grown before over the years. And I think this year I'm just going to plant only what we really eat and what we put up most, which is green beans, peas, okra, tomatoes, cucumbers. Just the main, I'm going to plant more of them and less of trying new stuff. That way I can have more to put up. So that's the only difference probably this year.
This is the main staple that we've had all of our life, basically.
Yeah, I'm not going to go and spend money on trying new stuff this year. I did it last year and a couple of years before, and some things worked out, some didn't. But I'm going to stick with the main stuff this year and just plant more of it. But anymore, we can't grow a big garden because neither one of us can take care of it because of our backs and stuff. But I have what you would probably call, and what I do know is called a potager garden. And it'll have a lot of flowers and herbs along with the vegetables. I just think a potager garden is very beautiful, and that's just what I like.
You like taking care of the flowers. I don't.
I do. I love
I think
flowers.
they're pretty, but I'm not too much into taking
Oh,
care of them.
But anyways, it's just, and I'm working on it. And as years go on, it'll get better and better. But
Plus, it draws bees to the garden.
Yes, it does.
And butterflies.
And butterflies. And
the pollination of the garden. And
yeah, because we don't have a lot of bees up here in the hills for some reason.
Not in these particular area. We do not. We have more probably bumblebees than we do honeybees.
Now, we did have some beehives, but and the bees were doing real good here, and then all of a sudden it got really cold one night, and they packed up and left, and we ain't seen them since.
Well, it was just a cold snap, and we come in, we were gone.
Yeah.
So I didn't catch them leaving.
I think they knew we was gone. You think they knew we was gone?
They didn't survive the winter. It was getting too close to winter. Wherever they went, they didn't make it.
So we haven't bought any more. We haven't tried to raise any more bees. That may be in the future again. I don't know. But I've got a brother-in-law, and my daughter-in-law raises a lot of bees and makes a lot of honey. So we have access to honey anytime. But we have a Mennonite store up at Dalton. They carry a lot of good garden seeds.
Yes.
And that's where we buy some too. So
I can't remember the name of that corn that.
It didn't have a name. It had a number. And I can't remember what it was, but it was...
When we lived on the river, we grew 2 years in a row, about 400 ears, wasn't it? Not perfect ears, but around 400 ears of corn.
It was between 400 and 500. And I don't know if it was the difference of the soil right there on the riverbank. We lived on the river for... 3 years?
But it was some of the best tasting corn.
Yeah, it grew a lot of corn. It didn't grow tomatoes very good.
No.
And
it grew peppers really well.
Yeah, and corn excellent. But I'm getting excited about the garden already. Yeah, potatoes.
And we're going to do I'm going to dig some furrows out here, outside the garden this time. And we're going to put wood chips and compost, and we're going to try to grow several pounds of potatoes this time.
Well, I just grew them if y'all watched any of my garden videos, I just grew them in tubs, and I didn't get I got some potatoes, but I didn't get a whole lot of poundage out of it. Now, I grew a lot of sweet potatoes. They done really well. But, yeah, we're going to do a big furrow, and we're going to do that. Because we've only been on this homestead 4 years.
4 years in December.
So we're still, trying to get things together and figure out what we need to do up here on this rocky hill. And I know a lot of y'all experience that too. But I'm going to try to plant some fruit trees this spring too. And I know the best time to plant most fruit trees in the fall. But it's hard to find fruit trees in my area in the fall. People up here want to plant them in the spring, so that's the only time you got access to them.
Sometimes,
but I do want to plant.
We planted some in the fall and they didn't make it.
No, the peach trees didn't make it. We're gonna plant them on the other side of the hill. We're not gonna plant them on top of the hill. So hopefully, and I'm gonna plant more. I'm gonna do some more tame blackberries and blueberries. So we can have more fruit on this hill, hopefully. But we want to do a little show and tell tonight. We're not going to be on here very long. This is old, and somebody might know the date on this because we've been trying to find out. This is an old metal square 3-gallon butter churn. It's the decal is still on the front, but just part of it to where you can read that it was from Ward's, which I think it actually just says Ward. I don't believe it says Ward. You just think it says Ward? Yes. But it's Ward.
It's a 3-gallon butter churn.
It's got the wooden lid, and it also has the the paddles in there are wooden, and there's 4 of them in there.
And you have to have quite a bit of cream to make butter in this.
A lot of cream.
It has had butter made in it. We haven't done it. The Middenites, when they were building this house, were milking one of their neighbors' milk cows, and he said, "Can I take that home and see if it'll make butter?" And I said, "You sure can." So he had a big family, and they took it home, and they ended up, the whole family come over actually and brung us some butter that they made in this.
Yeah.
It's not real practical for us because we don't have a milk cow, but it's something that we bought several years ago just because we liked it, because it was, I believe you'd almost call it primitive. I'm thinking it may be 100 years old, but I don't know for sure.
And we're trying to find out. We got this. It wasn't even at a sale.
No.
Our friend is a real estate agent, and he knows what kind of stuff we like. And he was in contact with an older couple several miles from us, and they were wanting to try to sell their house. And I loved their house. It was a primitive house. It was an old house. And she had this kind of primitive stuff everywhere. And she invited us up to look at the house. And she was wanting to sell some of her stuff because she didn't want, I guess, wherever they might be going, or
They had a lot of it.
They didn't want to take all this stuff with them. And I went in that house and I looked and looked, and there was just stuff everywhere. And she said, "You're welcome to buy something if you'd like." And I couldn't make up my mind because there was so much. But this, I think, caught your eye first, didn't it?
Yeah.
And as far as value, I guess we thought maybe this would probably be the best thing. We just like to find out more about it. But it is a neat thing. It does take 2 to 3 gallons of cream to... and I have a feeling it took that whole family taking turns cranking this thing to get butter made.
Well, if you've ever made, and I have when I was a kid, I made butter in a quart jar.
Well, you know how long it takes.
By bouncing it on your leg.
Yeah.
And you'll spend a long time.
Now
this will be faster than that, I'm sure.
I make butter on the KitchenAid with just my mixer paddle, and just with that, it takes a while for it to completely go through the process of making butter. So I can imagine how long it took to hand crank this.
But it would be faster than making it in a quart jar.
But back then, they didn't have nothing any different, so it's a pretty neat thing. I really enjoy having it.
You can actually spin it the way it's made. It can spin pretty fast.
But if anybody knows anything about these, let us know in the comment section, because
we see some that are made by, it's pronounced Daisy.
Daisy?
The metal ones. But I have not seen, there's different metal ones, but I have not seen one that has this ward. And the tag's partly gone, so it may say ward something else on it. And it does have 3 gallon number 42, but could be some more numbers out beside it. I don't know.
Now, my side of the family are dairy farmers down in Texas. And my cousin Julie, which some of y'all know, I talk about her all the time. And I had a video with her. She was a dairy farmer for many and many years. That woman worked so hard. And she was milking a cow up till she was over 70 years old. Now, she's pretty spry. She's still pretty spry. And what she would do, she'd milk her cow once in the morning. Did she milk her in the afternoon?
Every afternoon. Yeah.
Every afternoon. And she would save her cream up all week. So she would have enough. And she would make yogurt and butter. And
she had a cream separator too, a spinner.
I mean, she was set up to do it right. But it's a pretty neat process to make butter. I love it.
And we almost went and got that cow.
Yeah, we did. We just didn't have a place to keep her right now. A Mennonite family got her, so I'm proud of that. But anyways, we just want to share, have a little show and tell and show y'all. And this ain't a collaboration, but if anybody else has anything like that they want to share with the rest of us homesteaders, I think it's a pretty neat thing. If you got, stuff like that has to do with homesteading years ago or anything. But, yeah, we've had 2 pretty days, but I think part of this week's supposed to be pretty, and then going into next weekend, it's supposed to get cold and rainy again.
Supposed to be maybe a chance of snow. It may do like it did last time.
Oh. So it's still a long time before planting weather, because, they tell you, well, don't plant this or that till after the first frost. But ain't nothing going to grow till your soil is at a certain temperature, many inches deep. So we don't get in no big hurry.
That's what we have found out about the small greenhouse. Yes, you can get your tomatoes started, and yes, you can get them up so tall, but you will be we put 2 lights because the weather would be warm, and then we'd come almost frost at night, and just back and forth, and it's a real job continuously trying to keep them little plants alive.
Because there was no heat out there, and I would, some nights I'd have to just go get them and bring them back in, and this was just back and forth.
Back and forth.
So I'm not doing that this year.
And it is unreal when the soil temperature gets right, when the things get right, how fast things will grow.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we'll have some tomatoes come up out there just voluntarily this year. We always do. And they'll come up from the seed, and it ain't no time till they're making tomatoes. We try to have tomatoes by the 4th of July, and we normally do. And everybody says plant potatoes in February, and my dad used to do that. I mean, back in the day, and they would put them in the ground, and then they would mound dirt on them, and just when they thought the ground was getting warm enough for them to grow, they would take, which they were using horses then, or a mule, and they would knock that dirt down. And he said that a lot of times you would see the tops of the potatoes. But I have found that planting them maybe just a little bit before the soil's really ready, that I make just as many potatoes, and
well, a lot of people,
they grow, about the same time.
They'll lose a bunch of potatoes because they'll rot.
Yeah, they will rot.
Because nothing's going to grow. Nothing's going to grow till that temperature is just right.
Till that soil temperature, and it's usually whenever your nights start staying a little bit warmer. When you start getting warmer nights.
And that's certain things. That's just like when you're wanting to plant into the fall. Our bell peppers do better up here when it's going into colder weather.
And of course you got cabbage and things you plant early.
Yeah, but there's just so many things that there's here in Arkansas you just don't need to get in a big hurry, because it's just not going to do well. I had no green beans this year. I had absolutely no green beans, and it was so upsetting because I always put up a lot of green beans.
They were called blooming idiots.
They were blooming idiots. They bloomed and bloomed and were so pretty. No green beans. But I wasn't the only one. There was a lot of people said their green beans didn't do no good this year. So I'm hoping for a good crop this year. But anyways, we just want to get on here and
just say hey.
Say hey, and we've had a busy weekend because it was so pretty. I wasn't in the house cooking or nothing like that. I was working out in the garden outside, and that's what I love to do. So I am feeling a little bit better this week because I got to get out.
I lost weight because you was not cooking.
He did not. Some of y'all know that a while back Danny had some tests, and I did put it out there on social media that everything come back great, no cancer. Some of y'all on YouTube probably didn't see that, but his
biopsy
was negative, so everything's good there. So everything's good.
Real good. That's hard. That's kind of hard waiting around to find out.
Yeah. Yeah, but there's a good doctor.
Yes.
So, anyways, if y'all have a show and tell, let us know what you got. Let us see, because it's kind of fun. I can't remember. I got to tell this. Do you remember doing show and tell in school?
No.
I do.
We did not do show and tell in the
I remember show and tell. And I remember the one thing I took for show and tell. Do you remember them little bitty turtles you could get, and they stunk? And they would come in this little plastic bowl with a little island in the middle with this little plastic palm tree.
That's something to do with Texas. We just
They
went
were
out,
just little bitty. I don't even know what they were. They didn't get no bigger than this.
we just went out to the creek or
And you
river
feed them
and caught
this dry fish food or something. And I don't know how many I had because I'd have them so long they'd die and I'd get another one. But anyways, I remember taking that for show and tells, that turtle. That's probably why they died, because I kept taking them to school.
them.
But I didn't ride a school bus. If I'd rode a school bus, they would have died. Because somebody would probably killed them.
I probably wouldn't let you blow them on there if I'd have been the driver.
But I do remember that, going to show and tell with them little turtles. But we're going to get off here, and it's good to see and talk to everybody. I hope y'all have a good week. And if y'all are planting your gardens or do a little show and tell, whatever.
This lady done got it. She done got it drawed out. Wherever.
Well, my plans this year is I'm not going to spend a bunch of money on the garden. But I am going to have a lot come out of it. That's my goal. And I want tons of herbs and cutting flowers and stuff like that, besides my vegetables.
We got probably, 60 something, at least 60, I think 60 garlic.
Yeah.
To make garlic.
Danny planted a bunch of garlic in the fall, and it's looking real good right now. So about June, I hope we get some big ones.
Yeah. We grew some pretty good last year. They done really good.
Yeah, we still got some. We eat a lot of garlic.
A lot of garlic.
So anyways, we'll see you guys later. And God bless everybody. Have a good week. Be safe. And
And tomorrow's Monday.
yes, back to work we go.
Back we go.